I want people to know that it's like just really getting shit.
Hi, it's Matt Haycox here, and today I'm here with JP De Villiers. I'm really excited about this one this morning because he's a former professional cyclist, he's a Thai boxer, an Ironman triathlete, and he's now a peak performance coach, international speaker, and a best-selling author. A man of many talents, JP De Villiers. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
No, thanks for being here. So listen, just to get us going, could you just give us a quick 60-second summary on you and your career to date?
Yeah, I'm a high performance coach, speaker and athlete and author. Pretty much for me, high performance means not making massive shifts and changes in your life. It's every day making 1 degree, 1 millimeter changes to your life. So already being your best and looking to always be better. And I do that in my own life. I do that with my clients. I do that in a group environment and speaking. And as an athlete, I do that every single day. So yeah, I do high performance.
Well, tell me, I mean, on that you talk about making like 1 millimeter changes every day, but are these changes that you would expect someone to see a material impact from on a daily basis, or is it all building towards a goal? Because a big thing people talk about in content on social media and stuff nowadays is making sure that the decisions that you make can actually move the dial and have meaningful impact on what you're trying to achieve. I mean, how does do you believe in a different strategy, or does that 1 millimeter a day tie into that?
No, I think that we spoke just before this conversation. I said that you have to have intention and attention.
I wrote that down. I like that actually. I wrote that
and
down.
your intention is what you're looking towards, and your attention is your next move. So I think that you have to I know that you have to make progress every single day. And if you have a bad day, okay, it doesn't matter. Next day, progress. But you have to be moving towards something, because we're always acting from desperation or inspiration. So for us to be inspired and acting in spirit, we need to have something clear and compelling in the future. For me, I think that a lot of what my teaching is about leadership. Leadership in a corporate environment, a business environment, but also self-leadership. And for you to be a better leader, you have to be a better influencer. And for me, that's what the 1 millimeter shifts are about. How can I influence myself in a better way? And predominantly that's 3 areas. Influence myself better in my mind and my beliefs. Influence myself better in my habits and how I show up every day, or at least most of the time, right? Because we're all humans and we have bad days and bad moments, especially when I come into London for the weekend. I'm not always perfect. And then the third thing is making 1 millimeter shifts in your environment. I know it sounds so simplistic and so incredibly overused, but you and I both know that you become your environment. Your environment dictates your performance, and you become the people that you spend the most time with.
100%.
I'm a massive fan of Albert Einstein, and Albert Einstein said that there is no matter, there is only energy. Everything is energy. So if you want to raise, I'm a massive fan of Albert Einstein, and he said there is no matter, only energy. Everything in the world is energy. So if you want to raise the energy or the vibration of your own life, whether on a financial point of view, spiritual, psychological, physical, your outer world has to match that. It has to be congruent and aligned with that. And you can't change it overnight. You can't just go from starting as an entrepreneur or as a sales leader and say, I'm going to make Grant Cardone my mentor, or Matt or JP or whatever. No, you have to go, how can I make an incremental shift? How can I make a small shift today in a way that it challenges me enough to get uncomfortable, whether financially or time-wise or energetically, so that I can change. And then once you make that change, you keep evolving and reinventing yourself.
You've kind of half answered my question from what you were just saying then, but what I was actually going to go on and ask you is, I know you probably only work more in the business context, with salespeople and peak performance and that, but do these theories, do you think, can they apply to everything in life? Whether you're a sports person, whether you're a business person, or even a husband and wife suffering from a shitty marriage?
Absolutely. The thing is, I've been mentored by Tony Robbins for years. I've just come back from Kuwait City, promoting Tony there. And one of the things Tony Robbins talks about is don't make things bigger than they need to be, or don't make them more difficult than they are. Make them what they are, and then make them better than they are. The reason why we don't take action and act with urgency, which you and I know is one of the ingredients for massive success, is you have to keep moving and have massive momentum, is it's too big. Whether it's the weight loss of 10 kilograms, whether it's saving for a house, whether it's becoming a millionaire, it's I'm here, my goals are there. It's too big. If you have a rubbish relationship, and it's very bad, or it's a very bad quality relationship, a perfect marriage or a perfect relationship seems too far away. So what happens is you put all this expectation of yourself or on yourself, and then you can't meet that expectation. But the only person that put the expectation on yourself is you. So we have to be able to have more momentum in an inspired way, we have to make that progress very easy. So you have to treat yourself like an athlete. Look, coaching, I'm a coach, right? Coaching came from sports. And the whole point of coaching was 1mm shifts. Take someone that's already at their perceived best and make them better. And they don't get them to do something completely different. They just get them to try something new. That the result of that little shift is transformation, is a reinvention of their self and their game. For example, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was already the best at what he did. And then someone came along to him and said, did you know that if you shift your grip 1mm, it's going to change everything for you? I think he took a year off to perfect that swing, and he came back and was better than he ever was. So that's what high performance is about. And it applies to every single area of life. Relationships, what's the one thing that you can do today for the next 7 days that you've never done in your relationship? Just do that. We get good at what we practice. Same in sport. So this works for every single area of life, even when it comes to saving and investing. People make it bigger than it needs to be. Oh, I don't earn enough, or I've got too many expenses, there's too many outgoings right now, I can't save, I can't invest. Yes, you can, but your perceived picture of that is too big, therefore you don't do anything about it. I say this to my high-performing clients. Have a personal savings account and put $1 or £1 or 1 dirham, €1, whatever, or 10, whatever works for you, but make it so incredibly tiny that it has no difference. It makes no difference to you. Because what you're looking to do is you're looking to build emotional muscle.
But just start, yeah.
So if you can, I would be very shocked if someone put $1 or $10 or £10 a day in a savings account for 90 days and then just stopped saving and never saved again. It's 1mm shifts.
So, I know we're probably going to go off on a bit of a tangent from what we were originally planning to talk about today, but it's a bit of a kind of a pet peeve of mine, or you know, kind of pet conversation. Plus ties in with something I'm always asked. So, you were talking about the goal, you know, the goal and the end being too big, and people feeling that they can't start, or feeling that they need to quit. And obviously, you know, we're talking about that we can apply these peak performance strategies to relationships as well. I mean, today, you know, I look at, you know, modern day relationships, and I always say, you know, 80% of people you look at, you know, why the fuck are they even together? Yeah. You know, I mean, it's almost like the equivalent of a bankrupt business, that, you know, that the husband's got no interest in seeing the wife's got no interest in seeing the husband, but, you know, they feel that they have to be together. They go and sit at dinner and they're both on the telephone texting, or, you know, or you know, just having complete zero conversations. Do you see those as recoverable situations, or you know, when applying your theories, when do you know when to quit? You know, very good question, and I get asked this question all the time. Not in that way, but I'll always give the same answer. It's once again comes back to that intention and attention thing, not because of a lack of content, just because this is the best strategy for this. People say, oh, I must figure it out, I must do the work, but they don't know what their intention is. So one of the questions I always ask people, including the person that came to me in Kuwait 2 days ago, asking me about relationship advice, I said, what is your intention? Can you see yourself with your partner in 10 years from now? If you could choose any life, would you be with your partner in 10 years from now, 5 years from now? For anyone watching this, it doesn't matter about the year. Just put something far ahead in the future and ask yourself, if I could have anything, would I still be here? And if the answer is no, you staying there is you settling, is you living in fear. Because you're always acting out of love or fear. And if you wanted to act out of love, yes, I do want to be with this person, then make it work. Do the work and never ever give up or give in. But if the answer is no, get out. Yeah. If the answer is, if I said to a young kid who came to, I can't remember where, a young kid came to one of my events I was speaking at, and he is doing show jumping, and he was brought up into show jumping, and I was 19, it was his life, but it made him miserable.
but it's all he had ever done. And he came to me and he spoke to me and I said, look, can you see yourself doing this in even 5 years? If you could choose any life, if I gave you a magic pill, I've sprayed fucking magic dust on you right now, would you choose to do show jumping? And he was like, no way. And I was like, you got to get out. And this guy just bawled his eyes out because he realized he should, never give up, give up, do the work, like you're saying in the relationship. But he realized that looking forward, if he could choose any future, this wouldn't be it. So I think that with a business and a relationship or sport, ask yourself, where do I want to be? What's my intention for being here? Am I trying to prove a point? Am I settling? Am I keeping everyone happy based on everyone else's values? Or am I actually doing me?
Oh, I love it. And tell me, obviously, you've got phenomenal advice to give to other people. What do you think the best piece of advice that you've ever been given along the way is?
This is such a difficult question to answer, but because of the nature of this conversation, I'm going to say that it was one of my coaches, and he said to me, it was an hour conversation, but I'm trying to articulate it in a very short, clear and concise way. He said to me, JP, you don't have to be everything to be everything. What he helped me realize was that I was an artist and not an entrepreneur, right? There's different, depending on who your model is, you're looking at Grant Cardone or NLP or Tony Robbins, there's entrepreneurs, there's artists, there's stars, there are mechanics in the business, there are producers, salespeople, then there's managers, people. And because I came from nothing, because I came from a place where in my life I didn't at one point have shoes, I almost went to foster care, we were going door to door selling sweets to put food on the table even if dinner was porridge. I always had this relentlessness to be uber successful. But because of what I saw on the outside, I only thought that, I could only think that success had to be business success. And I didn't think that I could be successful as an artist. So, in short, the best advice I ever got given was to find out what makes you you and do that, as opposed to just be relentless in the pursuit of your success and try and be good at everything. And when I did that, when I removed myself from business, because one of my coaches said, JP, you are a thoroughbred at what you do. He said, but watching you lately makes me sick to my stomach because I see you being pulled in every direction, and it's like a thoroughbred, a stallion being pulled down by ropes, and it can't actually do what it's doing because it's being pulled in all these different directions. And I tell you what, Matt, that just hit me like a ton of bricks in the face.
Just to flesh out, just to be very clear about that, are we saying that you are getting involved in too many areas of your business and your life that I guess don't matter? Probably an equivalent way of saying that would be, concentrate on the 1% that matters, that makes a difference, and leave the other 99%, to the staff and everyone else. Are we talking?
Yeah. So in a business context, I would say, Pareto's law: focus on the 20% of things that give you the best results, or the 80% of the results. Delegate, all those things. But on a personal, from a personal point, it's about finding out. As simplistic as this sounds and fluffy as it sounds, it's about finding what your passion is. Because you have to do, I believe this so much, I had it tattooed across my chest. You have to do what you love and love what you do. Even if you can't think of something that you love right now, at least find what it is that you love in what you're doing. Because when you do that, here's the difference. Here was me 2 years ago. I was working incredibly hard at things I wasn't necessarily enjoying. The result was extraordinary stress. The difference between then and now is today, and for the last year, I work extraordinarily hard at things that I love. The result being extraordinary passion. And that for me is the difference. When you stop trying to do everything and you focus on the thing that gives you everything back, you have this insane amounts of energy, right? You look at the Gary V's, the Grant Cardones, the Tony Robbinses, whoever is doing them out in the world. Ask them if they have a day off or want a day off. No. So the reason why they don't want a day off is because they absolutely
Love what they do.
absolutely love what they do. Now, here's the thing. I've said for years, do what you love what you do. And people misunderstand that. Most people misunderstand that. They think there's either love what you do and be happy and spiritual and not worry about life, or there's hustle. No, it's put the two together. You know, even if you love what you do, you still have to do the work. It doesn't matter whether you are in the public sector, you are a politician, you are the Pope, you are a pupil at school. There's always work to do. No one just shows up and says, "Oh, I'll just love what I do."
Yeah, I mean, this is very similar to something I talk about a lot, or I get asked about, which is in the context of work-life balance. And people say, "Well, how do you get a work-life balance?" Or I feel like I'm doing too much at work. Not got enough time for my home life, or vice versa. To which my answer, always is, you only feel you need balance if you're not happy with one or the other.
100%.
When my birthday's on Christmas Day, and obviously Christmas Day is Christmas Day. I can't remember a Christmas day where I've not been sat on my laptop doing some work, and working on a project. And people say, "Are you fucking crazy? It's Christmas Day, it's your birthday. Put it away for one." But I'm doing it because I want to do it. And there's always aspects of everyone's job, everyone's day, or every project you're involved in that are shit. There's always something you don't want to be doing. But overall, there isn't one main thing I do that I don't love 110%.
Who's the crazy one?
Yeah.
Right? Who are the crazy ones? Is it you and I that absolutely love what we do, that we never want to break from it? Or is it people that feel they need to have a holiday from their life? Like, that's crazy. It's just crazy. You should love what you do so much that you want to do it every day, even if you didn't get paid for it. And if you have this attitude and energy towards what you do, you will throw all of yourself in. You'll be all in. One of my sayings is be all in. Get in or get out. Don't be in the middle.
Sure.
And if you get in all the way, because money at the end of the day is a fair exchange of value. So the more you put yourself into what you do, the more you're going to get back. And that's why I've not seen not people that I aspire to be like, that are uber successful, whether spiritually or financially, that hate what they do. Right? The ones that do hate what they do and have loads of money, they come to me because they want help. Because they have money, but they have no fulfillment. So that's the answer.
So tell me, obviously, you're out there helping other people make the right decisions for their careers and their lives. So what do you think the best decision that you've ever made along the way has been?
Being willing to take insane risks. That's it. People next to me in my life have been frightened by the amount of risks that I take. And I've failed so many times. I know it sounds so like everyone says it, right? Oh, it's all about failure. Failure is your greatest lesson. But if I didn't tell you that was the greatest thing I've ever done, I'd be lying to you in your face. I'm willing to fail all the time. I used to be a professional martial artist. After 7-8 years now, actually, I haven't fought in 8 years.
You fight professionally?
Yeah, Muay Thai. I used to, and I've done a bit of boxing, and I was a personal trainer back in the day when I didn't have grey hair on my chin. And this year I'm getting back in the boxing ring again. Do you not think I'm scared of getting in the ring? Right? I'm slower. I'm older. I can get injuries a lot easier.
And why are you doing it?
Because a goal is not about the goal itself. It's about who you have to become in the process of that. For me to get back in the boxing ring at 37 years old, to face my fear, to face the potential possibility of failure, to face being judged, to face being ridiculed, to face being fully seen for everything that I am, it'll make me a better person. And I'm not perfect. So I never claim to be number one or the best. I'm just on a journey of constantly reinventing myself. And then as I take stuff in and I start to own it, I can then share that. So I don't think if I had never failed before, I guarantee you and I would not be having this conversation. And I think you can probably say the same.
Yeah.
Right? So I say to everyone that ever works with me, when we part ways, I shake their hand and I say, I wish you failure. Because the more you fail, the more you learn, the more you grow.
And on that journey of failure, what's been your scariest moment that you can remember?
Wow. I think there was one moment where I grew up pretty much as an athlete, And then I was a personal trainer in my early to mid 20s. And then I wanted to go into coaching. I was more obsessed and passionate about the psychology of change rather than the anatomy and working in a gym. But because I defined myself by fitness, and because my belief system was what it was because of my conditioning from when I grew up and everything that I went through, at that point, I didn't necessarily believe that I could be more than what I was. And here's something for everyone watching. Everything that you're doing today is a result of your belief system. So I was a personal trainer in my 20s because that's what I believed I was capable of doing. If I believed I was capable of being a millionaire, I would have been that, because it all comes down to what we believe in our conditioning. Then I became a coach, not a speaker, not an author, a life coach, not a high performance coach. It's because at that point, that's what I believed I was capable of doing. But that switch from personal trainer, from fitness to look at me, I'm a coach, it's related, but it's very different, right? You're working in a gym to going out and meeting people in restaurants and in their offices. I didn't believe that I could do it. I knew that I wanted it. It was so clear to me. I felt so much passion around seeing people change their lives outside of the gym rather than inside. But I didn't necessarily believe that I could do it. So what I did was, have I got 1 more minute to answer this question?
Yeah, go for it, please.
I always say to people, right, there's this thing called the success cycle. Change your beliefs, you'll change your ability to tap into your full potential. As you do that, you change the actions that you take, and therefore you change the results. The better results you get, the better your beliefs are, and it's this self-fulfilling prophecy. So I knew from an early age that if I believed something, it was because of evidence. If you go to court, the judge, which in your life is your mind, the judge decides on whether there's innocent or guilty or right or wrong, etc., or this person's right or that person's right. Let's say your worst self and your best self is the truth based on one thing and one thing alone, evidence. So if someone has a belief that is so incredibly strong that it controls all of their life, which our beliefs do, it's because they have a very strong or a very large amount of evidence. So much so that that becomes a conviction, right? A conviction in the courtroom. A conviction is made because there is so much belief without reasonable doubt that everyone believes that this is the truth. So if we want to change what we see on the outside, we have to change what we see on the inside. We have to change our beliefs. And for us to change our beliefs and what the judge sees, we have to create evidence that's in alignment with the belief that we want to have. You want to be successful? Fuck seminars, fuck everything. Go inside, work on yourself, and start working on how can I create evidence every day, instill new movies into my mind that every day I believe a little bit more that I can do this. So that's what I did. It was the scariest thing for me, going out of the gym and out of the fitness environment, but I knew I had to do the work and I knew what to do, and I wanted to share that so hopefully other people can do it and do the same exercise. It's just create evidence. So what I did was I just said to myself, speak to one person at a time as a coach. Don't introduce yourself as a fitness guy, as a trainer, one person. Have a good, meaningful coaching conversation with that person. Bang, that's evidence for your new self. Bang, new evidence for your new self. Get a little speaking gig. Bang, and just and then the second thing would have to be fighting. I got bullied throughout school, so to step into a boxing ring and willingly go to war was the scariest thing of my life. And I knew at 31 when I stopped fighting, I knew that I'd attacked that fear, but I hadn't totally conquered it. So for 7 years, it stayed with me a little bit.
Was it the bullying at school that led you to want to learn to fight, to protect yourself, and you just got into it?
I'm sure everyone knows that fear is the one thing that stops us from doing everything that we want. I think Jordan Belfort uses this quote. I'm not sure if it's his quote, but he always says, the one thing that's stopping us from having what we want is the story we keep telling ourselves about why we can't have it. And that's ourselves, fear, right? Fear is not real. It's false evidence appearing real. But if you can turn that fear around from your enemy to your friend, then you can face everything and rise. So I knew that everything that I was afraid of, I had to attack. And because I was scared of confrontation and being hit and being the center of attention, I knew that when I walked into a gym in London when I was about 24 years old, 24, 25, and I saw a Thai boxing class, it scared the shit out of me. and therefore I knew I had to do it. And when I knew that I was afraid of heights, I had to jump out of a plane. When I knew that I was afraid of everyone looking at me, I became a speaker. So today I'm looking for fear. I don't know what's next.
Well, I was just about to ask you, what's next? What are your future plans?
I set my goals, I realign my goals and my values on the 1st of January every year. On the 1st of January, I was like, what am I going to do? I don't know. But I knew that I still had this fighting thing in. I still wasn't totally comfortable with getting in a boxing ring. Even tonight I'm doing fight training tonight. And it's been on my mind all day, that I might potentially be sparring someone tonight. So that's the thing that I'm working on next. I'm going to see where it takes me. I've always been obsessed with creating a great life for myself. Now I have an amazing life. But back when I was fighting and doing martial arts, I was never all in. And I've just thought, you know what, if I went all in for 1 year, just 1 year, trained like an actual martial arts or fighter athlete, what can I do? So that's what I'm doing this year. So watch this space.
Love it. So, and tell me, obviously, my main business is finance, and I whenever I'm talking to guests, I always like to ask them, if I was to invest in you, whether that's give you a business loan, make an investment in something you want to do, but it has to be in a completely different space to what you're doing now. What would you go out and do?
Okay, so I'm glad you said that last thing, because the first thing I was thinking is my dream is to build an online coaching community, a global coaching community where everyone around the world can be not only coached by me but other experts, but also have an environment where they feel connected, challenged, safe, and encouraged. And I have that already, but it would be to build that bigger. But if it's something that I'm not doing already, I'm going to go really far out now. Compassion is one of my highest values. And even though I'm South African, I grew up with a damn lamb chop in my mouth, pretty much. After 35 years, I turned vegan because I just, always being an athlete and having tried different things, I just knew that I can thrive as an athlete, as a business person, as a leader, without having to kill a single animal. So I did that 2 years and, what's the date today? 2 years and a week ago. And my life's never been better. So one of my dreams is I'm a very passionate person. I hope that comes across.
A little bit.
And I get frustrated because I want to help this person and that person. I want to help the person that's saving dogs from the Yulin Dog Festival. I want to help the person that's finding homeless dogs in Cyprus. I want to help the people that are going out there to slaughterhouses and doing vegan activist campaigns. I want to help stop whale killing, seal killing. I'm like this. I can't do everything. But what I'm good at is I'm good at influencing people. So what I want to do is I want to build a foundation that's able to accumulate a lot of money, a lot of resources, so that we can decide globally where we put that money to help those people that are doing those dedicated things. Or you want to go, I don't know, save cows from the slaughterhouse. Okay, tell us more about what you do. Send us a plan, and maybe we can invest in you. And that way, I can have I will.
Sure.
I will have a huge influence on the world and, protecting all beings.
Fantastic. Well, listen, it's been great to have you here. I've got one more question before we close, which is always my very specific personal question that I like to ask everyone before they leave, which is how you would like to be remembered after you've gone. But you have to answer the question from the point of view of how it would be written on your tombstone once you die.
Okay. Can I use my own language? I would love for it to say on my tombstone, Jean-Pierre De Villiers, he really fucking gave a shit. He really cared. That's it. That's all I want to be known for. I couldn't give a damn about the titles, and I just want to know that, I want people to know that this guy just really gave a shit.
Simple but powerful. I love it, buddy.
Awesome.
Listen, it's been fantastic to meet you. Amazing, and for sure we're going to be seeing more of each other. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Cheers.